Cool. All right, I think we're almost ready. Nope. All right, maybe I'll put me somewhere tiny. Like down here. And then I can make this bigger. Bam. Bam. And then all the way down here. And then we'll make me tiny. Tiny Tim. Just down here. Y'all don't really need to see me too much. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Where can I put me? There we go. Make me all tall and tall. Just kidding. Oh, maybe down here. Okay. Enough of that. All right, so let's dive into this record.
I stick to the basics. I'm healing in the fall. This red hot summer has water from every lake.
So let's double check because we're gonna just cut this down. Just kidding. Time down here. Okay. So
Basics. I'm healing in the fall. This red hot summer has water from every lake.
So let's double check because we're gonna.
I'm healing in the fall. This red hot summer has water from every lake.
All right, this should be solid. Should be solid. All right. So let's go through this track. We don't need the old drums. Okay. So we don't need this either. We don't need that. Okay. So we have a song here. All right. So I'm going to show you guys the song. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I guess I eventually will. Okay, let's get an overview of the record.
I stick to the basics. I'm healing in the fall. Caught up in the matrix, waiting for a call. It's ice white winter still as flames in the fireplace. This red hot summer has water from every lake. It's a real good summer even when it's a heat wave. Falling, I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings as light years pass. It's a damn shame. So much time has lapsed. You're the tidal wave, the reason that I care at night. And I know seasons change, but we've been all so out of sight. This ice white winter still has flames in the fireplace. This red hot summer has water from every lake. It's a real good summer even when it's a heat wave. Falling, I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings as light years pass. It's a damn shame. So much time has lapsed. Ooh, on the tidal wave. Ooh, even that I can't night. Ooh, and I know seasons change, but we've been oh so outside. This ice white winter still has flames in the fireplace. It's a real good summer even when it's a heat wave. Falling, I'm falling so fast. Diamond brings us light years past. It's a damn shame so much time has lapsed. But the tidal wave, even that can't die. And I know seasons change, but we've been oh so outside. But the tidal wave, even that can't die. And I know seasons change, but we've been oh so outside.
Cool. All right, so let's hop in here and see what we got to work with. You can obviously see my spectrogram. Always checking that for stuff like basses. Where do we want to start? Okay, let's start with the drums. How about that? Let's listen to the drums. And then the master chain I have on is literally just an EQ and a limiter, soft clipping. So without it. And that's on the master, right? So if I were to actually play the whole record.
It's ice white winter still is flames in the fireplace. Falling, I'm falling so fast. Falling, I'm falling so fast.
Whoa, a lot of distortion. Okay. So you can just kind of like tell with the limiter, we have
Falling, I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings us light years past. It's a damn shame so much time has lapsed. You're the tidal wave.
so it's just adding a bit of volume, you know, some presence. I would probably master it a little bit heavier if I were going to put it out or something like that. But yeah, so the drums, let's see. So I got some patterns going on here. Got some snares. And all of these are in my sample pack that I'm going to be dropping. I'm building pretty much like a different approach to sample packs where I get a bunch of drums that I like and I kind of just put them into one big long wave file, kind of like a bass pie or something like that, like a mud pie, but for drums. And then I put them into a sampler and then I just put it on like slice mode so I can kind of play through all of them or kind of have variation between hits. You can kind of listen, right? Let's see. Why not? Why can't we listen? Maybe that's why. Okay. Right. And then same with the snares. You can kind of go in here and go, right? Then over here, I have kind of a different pattern going on. I think this stuff's really important. Right? And it gives just this variation rather than a stagnant pattern. So, and then like a stagnant pattern is more like this. Even there, I'm kind of messing around with it a little bit. So, snare. And on the chorus, I add another snare layer. Then we have the kick. Then I have a crash. And then I have some white noise. I'm kind of just playing around with the filter on that a little bit. with a little bit of reverb, and then all together you have. And there's literally nothing on the drum bus. It's empty. There's not much processing going on. You guys will get to know that on pretty much every MIDI track I have this pitch wheel just in case I want to play keys in, say, C minor, but the song's in D minor. I just would go ahead and what would I do? I would C minor, and I want to play in D minor. I would just put it up 2, right? So now I'm playing in C minor, but it's coming out as D minor. Okay. Then I have mini monitor to tell me sometimes what chords I'm playing, if it's a 7th, if it's 11, 13, whatever it is. Then I have usually my instrument. I always have a tuner, just because also maybe I'm sampling something and I want to make sure that it's in tune. And with all my guitars and basses and live instruments, I want to make sure I have a tuner on every track pretty much. So yeah, on this with the hi-hats, all I really have is just the hi-hats and the reverb. So again, remember the tuner, the MIDI monitor, and the pitch really don't matter too much in this video right now because I'm just kind of decided I would play everything into the key that it actually was. So that said, I didn't pitch anything up. For MIDI, I did put in some live drums on top of this. And that just adds to the drum track. So if the drum track without it, with it. Just adds this extra thing. I pulled that from another track of mine. Listen, in the sample packs, especially if I'm going to make a video about it, I'm going to give you these. They're pretty straightforward. It'll work in almost any song. You know, if you have a certain amount of bars you need to fill up, this is a cool thing to do. You can start like doubling up some spots you want. Keep it more stagnant or less stagnant. I just decided to kind of keep it the way it was. Playing a lot with like phasers and stuff, and just letting there be rhythm within rhythm within rhythm within rhythm. So yeah, that's the drums. Then we have basically the music, which I just put into this group called Other at this point. And then with the bass, it sounds more like this.
So much time has lapsed. You're the tidal wave, the reason that I care at night. And I know seasons change, but we've been also out of sight. This ice white winter still has flames in the fireplace.
So let's start with the bass. I'll just go over the bass real quick. It's Serum. Again, I'm not pitching anything MIDI wise. Not really paying attention to anything there. Utility, I guess I just decided to automate some volume on a few things. And I never automate here because maybe I want to take all the tracks and change the levels, so don't do that. Serum. I think what I did here was just some basic shape signs. I put an octave up, and I had the B oscillator go into this filter where I can kind of drive it a little bit more and fatten it up. I think, I don't know why I kept it random up. Usually I'll put random down, but whatever. Effects, I put a little bit of distortion, just some tube and some compression. I kind of just threw up the gain there. And obviously, if I were really, really finishing this record, I would go in and fix the pops and clicks, and you can mess with the attack to do that in the release, but usually I do side chaining and other stuff. We're not doing any side chaining in this project. This is just like down and dirty. How simple can we make something sound great? That leads also to the vocals. This is an old acapella. It was from another production, and it's a little wonky, to be honest, because I just ripped it from the old track. It's also, you know, kind of like a demo vocal at the end of the day. Not something I'm gonna like release or shop around to major artists or anything. So therefore I figured I can make this video with it. And yeah, I still think that the song sounds really cool. Obviously we would do a full-on better vocal. This vocal has a ton of stuff though. It's like perfectly in tune. It's got delays, it's got reverb, it sounds great. It's just the lyrics are not really there 100%. The melodies are like almost there, but not fully. And it has these artifacts because I ripped it from an old project, and I'm not even gonna go find all the vocals, so no stress there. We're not gonna do vocals basically in this track. It's just this. Imagine this is an acapella that was sent to you, and we're just doing all of the music and the drums. So that said, I just high passed it a little bit, so you know nothing gets in the way of the sub. We went over the sub. Now let's go through the other track. Now we start with some ambience. And you can see I just took about 360 hertz here and just like put it on dynamic mode so it would just kind of capture when it gets too loud, that resonant peak. You can't really hear what it's doing except like in the mix. I knew it needed it and it just felt right, so I did that. Then down here, we didn't have that problem, so there's nothing on this, but it's a nice little... And check this out. This note right here, I believe it's an F. And yeah, it's an F. And this note right here is actually an E. Yeah, but I put it an octave higher so it doesn't rub so much. Otherwise, it would be down here. Let me put it both on. Well, I also turned it down a ton. So you hear it rub? But then you put an octave higher and it doesn't rub, but it actually sounds kind of cool and dissonant. Right? But I also turned it down a ton because we don't need that much of that E. But it's there. That's without it, just the F. Hear the E? Cool. All right, we're done with the ambient effects. There's really nothing on there. Then I just kind of like took a little bit of it, and because it's like so low in this track, and I just like boosted it up to like 9 dB. And let me turn off this like super distorted thing just so we can kind of focus for a second here, because I didn't do that till the end. Yeah, listen to this. Right, so here's the E, here's the F. Making sure I'm correct with myself. Yep, E, F. Look at that. All your ambience is done. Did that throughout the whole track pretty much, except for the bridge. I let it go. Then you have your pianos holding down the chords. Right? So you got your reverb, you got your distortion, and you got this like delay doing a Haas effect so it goes wide. Chord progression of the entire song does pretty much change between the verse and the chorus, verse, chorus, and then the bridge, I believe. It changes, or no, it's actually maybe it's the same as the chorus the whole way through at the end. So that's something to note too. So you got, right? And that piano is Alicia Keys. Okay, and then you got another Alicia Keys piano. Kind of just holding down the bass tones with a little bit of reverb, but no distortion. And then you got this nice little pretty pad I made in Serum. Kind of organy. It's got some unison. I bet you what I did was I took the bass, the sub bass, and I kind of just started tweaking it from there. Yeah, it looks like I totally did that. Cool. Whatever. It works. It sounds nice. And then in the verses, it kind of just anchors the bass. What is this? Same MIDI part, but put into more of like a saw square pad, or like, I guess, a pulse. I have them both running through the filter at this point. The attack's up a bit, some distortion, some compression, and reverb, and EQ, high passing it a little bit. Delay, just to kind of throw it off a little bit. And then the last part I have is just kind of this square sound. Square and saw, I guess. A little bit of reverb, distortion, same old thing. And that kind of just goes throughout. So let's go ahead and build all these up. Right, and then the ambience. Bass. And then I needed some more energy, so I started throwing all of the music, like the pianos and everything like that in here, into this bus where I kind of drove it a little bit with roar, distortion and stuff, and some EQs, compressed it a bit, played around with more EQs until the tone kind of fit correctly. I used a delay also to kind of like shift it off again. I don't know why, I just felt like shifting a lot of stuff off on this one, but basically it sounded like this. But now with the distortion on the choruses, it sounds like this. Without it. Arguably, you don't even need that in there. That distortion layer, I liked it. Kind of gives it more edge. I was thinking of maybe just like saving it till the very end. Because you could just feel it's super empty there. So I wanted to fill it up, but I don't want to add too much instrumentation, to be honest. I just want to take what's there and just beef it up. So, yep, sent it. A good thing to do is really look at your spectrogram when you're doing stuff like this. also make sure you're not phasing, but let's look at everything. And then I'm going to switch on the distortion. Off. See how much energy? Look at all of that. That is all really cool energy. And I'm looking for new ways to like kind of get that energy. And adding some distortion layers inside your return tracks is a good way to do it, I feel. So clearly a really important thing to do is make sure that your top line is amazing when you're doing a simple pop track like this. I do think we could beef up this top line, rewrite it, do some cool things, but the track's pretty much there. And if it's good enough, you know, maybe some different moves here and there might help. But for the most part, you know, let's play it without any of the vocals and just how simple this beat ultimately is. We put a vocal over it.
I stick to the basics. I'm healing in the fall, caught up in the matrix, waiting for a call. This ice white winter still is flames in the fireplace. This red hot summer has water from every lake. It's a real good summer even when it's a heat wave. Falling, I'm falling so fast. Done the rings as light years pass. It's a damn shame, so much time has lapsed. You're the tidal wave, the reason that I care at night. And I know seasons change.
So anyways, I'm gonna put out this sample pack so you guys can grab it. There's some other stuff on the website, and yeah, I want to do more of these because I see a lot of tutorials out here that are using just so many plugins, and like they're honestly really, really good people that are doing this, and they're like super organized and like have all this stuff, and it's super cool. And the tutorials, the songs are just garbage. So I don't know, man. You know, maybe you'll think this is garbage, but I think it's pretty much what I do. This is what I, you know, typically would deliver. Something of this caliber. Maybe, you know, I probably spent like an initial hour or two working on this, maybe 3 hours to be honest. Minus obviously the top line and like all the other like getting here. But you know, it takes a long time to actually find what a song needs to be. And this one, even though it sounds pretty cool, still needs an extra like 10 to 15% before it could really do its thing. And this distortion trick to beef everything up might even be something that later on, if I get serious about the song, I kind of like, maybe I tuck that lower and do add some more instrumentation to fill it up with a little cleaner. It's a little bit of a cheap way out, but it works in different places. And this place, I feel like it would work. Let's talk about also just really quickly the plugins and stuff. I'm trying to use mostly stock stuff. And here's the deal. I have all the plugins. Believe me, I've paid for and I have all the crazy cool plugins out there. I use them obviously towards the end of a mix or something. Some of them I don't use like them like crazy. I know this one dude, he makes so many videos and he just has like every single plugin under the moon, and he can play. He's like a really great musician, everything. The songs are trash. And I know he's better than what he's just putting up on here, just like I'm better than what I'm putting up on here right now. But I don't know, man. I think like at the end of the day, like if I'm gonna do this stuff, I'm gonna at least like work towards finishing something. And then y'all could just like buy the sample pack or like buy production from me, or like mixing and mastering, song writing, whatever, master classes. I don't really even know what I'm doing yet, but ultimately I'm going to work on stuff that I'm actually going to release, because at the end of the day I'm an artist. So anyways, not to really knock anybody either. Everyone's doing the best they can. This might be complete garbage to somebody. But at the same time, I looked around a long time, like years and years and years, to try to find like what is the solution to making records sound cool and this, that, and the other. And like this is straight up competitive. Like if you go and look at the master and everything, I have it turned down a little bit on the output actually though, because of YouTube for some reason. Yeah. But you can see like
it's a real good summer even when it's a heat wave. Falling, I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings as light years pass. It's a damn shame. So much time has lapsed. Reason that I can't.
like that's pretty close to commercial. Obviously I'd put the output back up to 0. And the vocal would be a little cleaner and stacked a little bit better, pushed a little bit more maybe in the hooks. But yeah, like you can go ahead and use all sorts of crazy plugins to get a sound, or you can play really great notes and take really good takes and make a way better record, in my opinion. And it took so long to learn that. And like I said, like, I mean, I don't know, every now and then, like I like a dynamic EQ, like I threw this on, right? So I needed to tame that situation with something dynamic. So I did that. I could have went to Oak Sound, not Spiff, but what is it? What is it? I'm going to talk about this because it's kind of important. A B C D E F G H I J K. There we go. Soothe. Jesus. See, that's how much I don't use this stuff anymore. Just because, like, I think Soothe, and I could be wrong about Soothe, but I think Soothe causes latency. Anything that causes latency these days is like the devil, because when I am working on a serious project and somebody wants to come in and recut vocals or guitar or horns or whatever in a big session, and we got like 100+ tracks, and it's not at a demo like this is anymore, like 21 tracks, and it's just stacked. The last thing you want is to go through 80 tracks to find out, well, where is there a Pro L, where is there some sort of like high intense EQ on linear phase, where is this, where is that? That's all introducing latency. And it's just like, and even Melodyne and stuff like that. And like, it's like sometimes you find yourself in that position. I find myself in it a lot because I like to change things a lot and explore. So the more minimal I can keep it and just a better arrangement, this, that, and the other, is much better. And like I said, I wish I could. I don't want to say exactly who taught me that right now. Maybe I'll mention them in another video or something. But some Grammy-winning #1 people, just like that have made #1s, have really nailed it into me. That like arrangement and good takes and a good concept. You know, you could take sounds that are slightly basic. You could take VSTs that are slightly basic and make something incredible with it. Now, don't get me wrong. Also, I love certain plugins. Like when I'm in mix mode and stuff, I will definitely dive into, you know, Isotopes heavy stuff, Fab Filter, all sorts of like, what is it? Good Hertz. Yeah, I love their little lossy thing. This is like one of my favorites, Clip Shifter, LSR Audio VLB 902. I actually bought the de-esser analog rack unit because I love that so much. I used to put this on everything, and for some reason it only comes in AU at this point, so it was messing with the Ableton likes VSTs. So we're just gonna go into a plugin talk now that I've shown this record. But I think it's good because I'm gonna try to start taking this a little bit more seriously on YouTube. Obviously, trying to throw a Camel Crusher on and use it, even though I can't see it anymore, is a whole thing. I don't even know where all my cool stuff is. Like these days too, I'm trying to also like play a lot of guitar on records, and of course I got some really fun wave stuff. I love using the waves. But if it's gonna cause latency, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Cymatics has some crazy stuff. Pitch map. That's like uber latency though. I love using track spacer. I will use that towards the end once I know where I'm going with a mix. Otherwise though, if you start using, like I know I had track spacer on this vocal, and that's why you can hear it kind of side chaining and aliasing a little bit.
Diamond rings as light years pass, it's a damn shame. So much time has left.
Because it was ultimately being sidechained against probably maybe anything from the music to the drums to the sends, and then obviously when I used AI to extract the vocal, you can really hear that. If I went back and like took the stems and went back to the session and opened it up and used track spacer and just took it off, it would sound a lot better. But to be honest with you, if I went back to half of my songs and went to the vocals or anything that have heavy processing on them, with all the updates, sometimes like stuff doesn't even work anymore. And I just got so sick of that over the years. So I'm trying to keep things minimal. You know, yeah, I'll use some Valhalla reverb, but sometimes I'll even reach for the stock reverb and just like tweak it and dial it in. That's what it's all about, is dialing whatever you got in, making sure it works, and you know, just doing really cool things, bouncing them, keeping them and ready to go for other sessions, like obviously like a top track for drums. And it's not crazy. It's not doing any crazy like skips, right? Like that. So it's like it's basically 16th notes. 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, it'll fit over almost anything pop. Yeah. Other plugins I like, Sonics, Oxford Inflator, like, you know, that's probably something I would reach for on here towards the end.
I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings as light years pass. It's a damn shame. So much. I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings as light years. I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings.
Had to back off the limiter a little bit to get that to do what I needed it to do.
I'm falling so fast. Diamond rings.
Anyways. I just wanted raw power, so the limiter kind of worked. I'm also trying to play around with this new limiter because it doesn't introduce latency. I love that. And it has these new modes. So it's not just standard anymore. You have soft clip and true peak. You have routing, mid-side, and left and right, which I think is really, really cool. And I really haven't even played around with auto either. So like, let's try that. It's not really able to handle the load in my opinion right now. That's okay. I always at the end of the day take off this limiter and I go for Oxford, Inflator, maybe Isotope, Pro L, or some really cool like Master Plan or Schwab Digital stuff. Kazrog, K-Clip is really good for clipping. But I've also learned more like with the clipping stuff too, that like if you just do it more so inside the tracks, you're golden. And And then obviously you can clip towards the end if you really want. Like I could probably clip these drums. But again, demo, not going too crazy. I'm sure as this channel goes forward, I'll hopefully get into some crazier productions. But I wanted to start it out kind of simple. And I think this kind of nails it. So hope you guys enjoy, and go ahead to teddymarquee.com, grab these drums, grab some stuff that I have to offer. It's pretty different approaches than your average like splice packs. Again, I don't think I've seen anybody at all doing sample packs with drum pies. So I think Virtual Riot might have done some with not drum pies, but bass pies, mud pies. Again, what a mud pie is just like a full like 1 minute track or 3 minute track of like a bunch of content, like basses and different modulations, or in my case drums, and then you can load them up and kind of pull from them as you want. I think it just makes so much more sense than dragging and dropping one kick, one snare, one hi-hat, playing around, making some beats, maybe adding 15 more elements, but then realizing like, oh, wait a second, like it feels kind of stagnant. And it's like, okay, well, maybe you should try doing something like this. All right, I'm out of here. I got other